I've got to talk about this ad that the Super Bowl and the NFL rejected. This was an ad by PETA comparing black people to animals. Take a listen. I will narrate you through this ad. So you've got a little bumblebee flying, and then the animals start kneeling. You can see a little bear standing up, then the bear kneels down. A little fish swimming in the water, the fish kneels down. Wolves, foxes, they take a knee. A disgusting tarantula and a gross little rat kneel down. Sheepdog kneels down. Little pig kneels down. You can hear this Star-Spangled Banner in the background. Reminds you of that Colin Kaepernick protest. All the animals kneeling down. Now the bald eagle itself is kneeling down, symbol of America. And the final line is #end speciesism. So this is so bonkers. I've seen PETA make this argument before. I remember I saw it in college. They had a PETA protest in college, and they had these big billboards, and it showed African chattel slavery, like full-on African men in chains in the 19th century, and then cows on a farm. And they were saying, see, when you really think about it, aren't those the same thing? And in order for those to be the same thing, then black people have to be animals. Those have to be the same thing. And I remember standing there with several of my friends, most of whom were liberal, by the way, and we were just looking at it like, have you people lost your minds? Do you understand how horribly offensive this is? Now, from PETA's perspective, they don't think it's offensive. Any reasonable person would look at that and say, hey, you're calling black people animals. Like, maybe don't do that. But from PETA's perspective, because they like animals much more than people, they're saying, no, we're just saying all species are the same. And so they all need to be treated exactly the same way. That's what they're drawing a direct comparison between racism, which was ostensibly the purpose of the flag-kneeling Colin Kaepernick protest, and speciesism. In other words, we shouldn't draw any distinctions between races because we're all children of God. And likewise, we shouldn't draw any distinction between human beings and spiders because we're all the same thing, really, when you think about it. Now, this isn't true at all. I mean, the reason that we treat animals differently than human beings is because human beings have will and intellect, and animals do not. This is the same reason, by the way, that we don't arrest a fox if a little fox rapes another fox in the wild. Animals rape each other all the time, right? But it's not really rape because animals don't have free will and intellect. So it's not like they're violating some moral law that they're aware of. They have a conscience telling them to act in accordance with the transcendent moral order, and then they decide to sin by transgressing that. No. Do we arrest a wolf for eating another animal? No. Do we charge the bear with murder against the salmon? No, of course not, because animals are different than people. PETA couldn't see it that way. I think the NFL very wisely saw the blowback that they would get from that ad. PETA incredibly released it on their own, and they're rightly getting blowback for that as well. Absolute craziness. If you enjoyed that video, and let's be honest, of course you did. I hope you did. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so everyone wading through the wasteland of YouTube knows that we have the best content out there.